Hey, comic book fans, welcome back to Comic Book Corner 2.0. And fans, you're with me, Mike Spider Slayer, getting ready to do the countdown episode number 72. That's right, fans. And today we have a total of 12 comics to talk about. And just wanted to give you guys a little heads up this week. Starting on Thursday, I will be taking a week or two break. I might post a video here and there, depending how much of an itch I get to do something. But for the most part, I'll be taking a break, transitioning from summer to fall, getting schedules together, getting the kids in a routine with school and things like that. So in 2 weeks' time, I will be back in full swing of things. With that being said, let's enjoy this week's episode of the countdown, episode number 72. Again, 12 titles altogether, 12 physical copies, no digital copies. We're going to start with number 12, which takes a huge slide, I felt, this time on my countdown, and that was Mark Millar's Starlight, issue number 5. Now, this issue was not the worst thing in the world I read, but I feel that it has some problems. I feel that maybe it's rushed a little bit, and I'll tell you why as I explain. But in this episode or in this issue, we get to learn a little bit about the origin of the little boy that went to go get Duke McQueen, and why he wants revenge on these bad guys, and why the rebellion has been formed or whatnot, you know. And I thought that was a little good introduction to the story. Uh, but as the story progressed, you know, we get to see a few more of these other characters that were introduced in the story, and you don't get really much character development. They're kind of thrown in here, and you kind of expect to make you feel for these characters, and I kind of don't. There's characters in this book, like the villain, like some of the rebel people, that you kind of like, well, I don't really care for them. Where in the beginning of this series, the reason why we cared so much about Duke McQueen was because of the family that he came from and his life experiences. And you don't get to see that in this issue with all the other characters. Yes, you get to see the traitor, you know, on his false persona of liking American things from, you know, the past, and he's the traitor of the group. And then all of a sudden there's like this battle that starts off between Duke and the bad guy, Wes, and you know, we think that Duke McQueen is dead, but he's not dead at the end. And it's just kind of a little bit of an all over the place book right now. And I just feel that, again, I would like to see more character development in here, because like I said already earlier, what made Duke McQueen such a lovable character is where he came from and the experiences that he experienced. And I don't get that at all in this particular issue. And I feel that the story is going a little bit south. I don't feel a real plot here besides Duke McQueen going out there and just, you know, shooting a bad guy. So after reading this issue and the really simplistic art, I felt that it's even more simplistic than earlier issues, and I think it's almost of a rush job. So after reading this issue, I gave this one a 2.5 out of 5 stars. And that was number 12. All right, so going forward, we move on to number 11. And number 11's book this week was Batman issue number 34. Now, as much as I'm happy that Zero Year is over, we take a one-issue break between the next story arc, which is the end game. And then in this issue, we have Batman, uh, you know, trying to find, you know, dig up dead people or whatever it is, going after this guy that's been dumping bodies into a grave for years and years, and kind of slid under Batman's radar. Obviously, we don't have Scott Snyder. You know, he he wrote this book, but he also wrote it with Gary Duggan, who also writes the Hulk now. And then we have art by Matteo Scalera, which I thought was interesting look on this. You know, Batman is a dark character. This is a dark plot line that was going on in this issue. So, you know what? I kind of liked the art here. I felt that it fit the book. It was crazy seeing all these dead bodies being thrown into these miscellaneous grave, you know, into this graveyard or whatever it was. And then you get to see Batman come to his senses, saying, "I've been letting things go. Things been sliding," and he finally catches up with this guy, and he throws him into the Joker's jail cell, which was pretty interesting. And then he winds up going back to this grave site, and there's just all this tie-in going on with Batman Eternal. So that's why this guy has been slipping under Batman's radar, and he feels that it's no excuse. So I thought it was cool there with a little bit of tie-in, and then you get this artwork on the bottom of it here with all these dead bodies. I thought it was a good book. I don't think it was like the best Batman story. It's a complete filler issue. And next it says, next 5 years later, a broken bat, and again, Future's End. So again, I liked it. Was it my favorite Batman story? No. I gave it a 3 out of 5. I thought it was just average for me, but I do like the artwork in it, and Batman fans might be happy that Zero Year is over. We just got a different story. So 3 out of 5 for me. Not bad, not great. So next was on the list, and that is number 10. So going into the top 10 for this week's countdown was Wonderland issue number 26. Cool cover here. You have the White Queen Cheshire Cat on there with some flying tortoises. Did you ever see flying tortoises before? I don't know. I haven't seen any lately. But this book was pretty cool. Wonderland, this is more of a filler issue also. It's kind of a jumping on point for a lot of readers because we've gotten to see the White Queen now fully take over Wonderland. And the book does a good job at describing certain things and certain elements there after Callie meets up with her daughter Violet. And we can see that being a queen is no easy task. She's trying to change it from the twisted world that it was into this wonderful place that it can be. But, being a queen, again, is not an easy thing. And so, a lot of people think she's kind of losing it a little bit because she's got so much on her plate, but she's just trying to do so many things at one time. And we get to see something else happening in Earth, which is got me intrigued as well. You get to see these two boys come across this house in this issue as well, and they wind up seeing this this dead, I don't know if she's dead or not, but they wind up seeing this female on here, and she winds up disappearing, and one of the boys goes in after her. The cops come because they called for the police because she was dead on the ground, and this crazy weird creature comes after this boy. So I have no idea what was going on there. So that was kind of the side story that's happening on Earth. And then again, you get to see Callie go into the town and try to let everyone know that she's queen and she's out to protect everyone the best that she can. And then there was this girl that went into the woods, and a lot of people feel that she could be dead because there's these evil creatures in here. And then you get to see this evil creature at the end. So I thought it was an interesting issue. Here's the cover of the next issue here. And what this story looks like it's progressing is her having her control in Wonderland without having evil seep through the cracks. Can she keep it all together? How strong of a queen can she actually be? So I thought it was an interesting issue. Again, a little bit of a filler, not really that much that happened here, but we can see where the story is going to progress. The writer here is Erica J. Heflin, and the artwork is done by Vincino Riccardi. Again, I like the artwork in here. I have seen better from this series, but it's not horrible. So after reading this one, I gave this one a 3.5 out of 5 stars. And that was number 10 this week. Alright, so going on, we're going to move on to number 9. And number 9's book was All New X-Men, issue number 30. Again, another filler issue into the next storyline here. In this particular issue, you get to see Angel and X-23 focused on this cover, flying upside down, making out, and it looks like they have a relationship. They're kind of like boyfriend and girlfriend now, which is kind of funny because in just recent issues, we saw X-23 all over young Cyclops, and now she's hooking up with Angel. So I guess the recent events had them come closer to each other. So it looks like they have a passionate night. You get to see what they did at a particular club, called this Blackout Club, how they beat up some guys when people were picking on Angel. You know, very little dialogue in the beginning of the issue. However, the artwork I thought was done really nice. Good to see Sarah Pacelli on this book. You know, she came from Guardians of the Galaxy. Now she's on here. And I think she brings these characters, makes them a little bit more realistic, but still fits that character and gets that emotion in there from the characters' faces. And then the other part of the book, you have a whole psychic battle that happens between Jean Grey and Emma Frost, young Jean Grey and Emma Frost. And then they wound up crossed, Emma Frost, and then they wound up becoming besties at the end of this issue. You get to see Kitty Pryde in here, which Cat Comic Uno was probably happy to see because now they have she has a relationship with Peter Quill, hologram, Peter Quill hologram thing, and there were some good character moments there between the two. And again, nothing much really happened here. No action, kind of a love story type of book. And by the time you get to the end of it, we get to see Beast, Iceman, and Storm come, and they all got to get together to do Xavier's will. So, and that's what happens in this particular issue. Again, nothing much to talk about here. Filler issue in between stories right now. If you like Kitty Pryde, if you like Peter Quill, if you like them being a relationship, you're going to enjoy that. If you like young Jean Grey being friends with Emma Frost now, you might enjoy that too. Or if you hate Emma Frost, you might hate that. So, all in your opinion. But again, I thought this was a filler issue, but it was good, and it was a good artwork. So I give this one a 3.5 out of 5 stars. And that was number 9, right? 12, 11, 10, yep. So moving forward now, we go on to number 8. And number 8 was the new Suicide Squad, issue number 2. I think this took a big jump down from where it was because the first issue was number 1 on my list when it first came out. This issue was good, but not much really happened from it. And it continues to last off of the last issue, obviously, where these red Russian type of robots are hunting down the Suicide Squad. This was this top secret that the Suicide Squad was looking for. This is what came across. It's just that they hunted them down. And in a lot of this issue, you have these Russian robots basically chasing after the Suicide Squad the entire issue. I mean, that was literally the whole issue. Not much else happened besides Deathstroke dipping out on his crew, and he winds up taking possibly more money with the Russians to work with them. And you get to see how quick that Deathstroke flips the switch. However, I think he's faking them out. I think that he's going to get on the inside and slice and dice them and kill them all. That's my theory on that whole thing. But in this whole issue, that's all you see is the Suicide Squad battling some Russian guys from the inside and these robots and things like that. By the time you get to the end of this issue, you end up seeing Deadshot. He gets shot in the shoulder, he gets shot in the leg, and then what happens, and this gets a cheesy dialogue. It's like, stop shooting me, and then he goes, have to get out of here. And he's like, never going to. And then all of a sudden, the robots come shooting, and then it just ends. And I was just like, oh, that's it? It's over? The good thing about this book, though, is it has great character moments between Suicide Squad members. There wasn't much of the Victor Sage type of thing and Amanda Waller in this issue, but there was good character moments between stupid Joker's daughter and Harley Quinn in this issue. Harley Quinn can't stand the Joker's daughter, and I love that in this series because it's just she's wearing her boyfriend's face. I mean, how odd is that? And she can't stand her, and that's one of the best things in here. And I love Deathstroke in the series just because I like the character, and it's just interesting to see what's going to happen with him. So after reading this issue, decent, solid artwork in here. I'm going to give this book a 3.5 out of 5 stars. I'm interested to see where this is going to go, and hopefully it just doesn't continue or get even cheesier. But it's a fun read for me. So 3.5 out of 5 stars. So next, going forward, we go on to, I want to make sure this is right. 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we go on to number 8. And number 8 this week was the New 52 Futures End, issue number 15. This book was pretty good, 3/4 of the way through until I got to the end. And then once I got to the end, this dropped big time for me. In this issue, you get to see a little bit more of Superman. And one of my biggest mysteries is I want to see what happened to Superman in this great war. I want to see what happened to him. And he just has me so intrigued. And you wind up seeing him do the battle against Rampage in here. And then he comes across Lois, and he saves the school bus, he saves kids, he does the things that he's always done. But there was good moments here because he comes along with Lois, and him and Lois have a talk with each other. And he's like, she's like, you hide behind this mask, you don't wear, she's like, I would love to see you in a cape again. And, and it seems like Clark is a little bit distant here. And he's got this injury that we haven't seen. So there's a lot of mystery behind Superman, which I like, and I can't wait until that's revealed to us. And then I liked here because it winds up getting back into the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or Amethyst and Frankenstein and Hawkman. And we get to see a little connection, a little chemistry between Hawkman and Amethyst in this issue. And we can see how full of himself Hawkman really is. Sitting there going, oh, you're all over me and blah, blah, blah. And, it was good to see them because he's so confident that she likes him. And then you get to the point where it comes to Deathstroke and Grifter, and you get to that whole point. And then you get to see what's happening there and how one of the characters, I think is cloaking himself, and then he can explore the facility or whatnot. And then you come on to the cruise ship, and then you wind up seeing that there's this, you wind up seeing this guy again. What is that thing? What is that guy? I have no idea. What does he have to do with anything in here? I don't even know. And then I wound up getting lost. Constantine makes an appearance in here. So at that point, I was just like, okay, what's going on now? So that kind of ruined the ending. I love the beginning, I love the middle, and then the end was just like shoddy. So after reading that book, I wound up giving it 3.5 out of 5 stars. It's one of these books that just like, I need to know what's going to happen in the end. I'm just so intrigued by this whole Brother's Eye thing. I want to know who Superman is. There's a lot of things here that have me interested. It's just not enough. They just don't give you enough in the issue of certain elements. So this was number 8 in the list, 3.5 out of 5 stars. All right, next we go on to number 7, and that was Avengers Undercover, 3 months later. Artwork is different in this issue, not as good as the last issue. But the one thing that I was talking to my friends at Comic Frontline is that all of a sudden, Death Locket has aged. And it looked like she went from like a 13, 14-year-old character to legitimately being this like 18, 19-year-old. So I don't know if she was meant to be that way in Avengers Arena and they just drew her younger. But here she just looks like a much older character. And it looks like she's now falling under Baron Zemo and his people. It looks like she's going to be some of the bad people, the bad persons in here, because this is 3 months later after they have decided to come together as a group and say, let's infiltrate on the inside, pretend that we're bad guys, and then let's come back out and, get these guys arrested and whatnot. It makes us look good. But not everyone's on board. Deathlocket's not on board on here. Who else is it? It's Bloodstone, who's not, which I saw obviously he's working with Hellstrom. He's busy being a demon type of person. And, so we get to see a lot of the characters in here starting to change. Hazmat and Anchorism, which are these two in here, they now have a relationship. So it looks like Hazmat's over Metal. And, we get to see the true colors of all the characters going forward here. I think this book has got 2 issues left. It's a shame that it's ending, that it has to end this way. It looks like that you could do a lot more with this series, but it looks like for some reason that Hopeless is has to actually end this short, because I could see all the little plot lines and things that could happen, but it seemed like he was forced to push it 3 months further, and that kind of drags the series down a little bit. But by the time you get to the end of the issue and you start seeing the true colors of our heroes, we get to see that the Avengers now make their way into action, and Zemo planned this whole thing for them to come to begin with. So, interesting issue. I liked it. The artwork was a little bit different. Love the cover. I wish the inside art was like the cover. Uh, but after reading this one, it's a 3.5 out of 5 stars. Not bad. A little bit better than average. But again, I would have loved to see more of Avengers Undercover, of them getting on the inside, them maybe slowly changing character development, going from good to evil, and it just fast forwarding so it can end. So a little disappointing there. All right, so next book on the list this week, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, number 6, and number 6 was The Walking Dead, issue number 130. I hate that the number is all the way up there, and I can't even see it. I'm like, issue 130. I want that big number, man. Don't hide it. Anyway, cool cover here. You got the zombies, the walkers, the roamers, whatever you want to call them, walking across this trench. Ken and Marco here are obviously trying to hide from them. And this cover stays somewhat true to what happens in this issue. But in the when we last left off in the series, is we got to see Negan come across, what's her name, Magna, and her group, and they come across the jail. And he's pleading, saying, let me out. He's like, these people are crazy. They're nuts. They're going to drive me insane, and they need to let me out. They're going to take over the whole world, and blah, blah, blah. Magna and the group have nothing. They don't fall for it. And I was just like, man, I wanted that to happen. I wanted Negan to come out and start causing mayhem behind, in the new Alexandria. I wanted him to do that. But I guess that was the predictable thing. And Kirkman kind of screwed you around thinking, well, that could happen. Nah, just kidding. And so they took off. So the rest of the issue here focuses on Ken and Marco trying to, stay away from these zombies, not get killed. They're injured, or is it Ken, I think, that's injured, or Marco? One of the two is injured. And, one's got to get help for the other. And then this is Carl's big day. He gets to go to the Alexandria. He's on his way there, and to get his new welding job or blacksmith job or whatever it is you want to call it. Check out that gap in his head, man, from his shot. That is insane right there. So he goes with his dad. They make their way to the hilltop. We finally get to see Maggie in here, and we also get to see the baby. We get to see baby, and the baby's name is Herschel. How fitting that Maggie names her son Herschel. So it was really cool to see that. Really good character moment there. It looked like Carl was going to get this blacksmith job. Unfortunately, someone took the position before him. So now is he going to stay on the hilltop now that his job has been taken away? I don't know. But the next thing we see is that we get to see Marco come through, left Ken behind because his leg was so injured, and he saw him freaking out. And he has to go. And he's like, go get Ken. We got to get Ken. And he says one thing here that's like, uh-oh, where is this book going now? And he goes, it was the dead. They were speaking. What is that? What is that? Like, look at his face. So is the dead alive? Like, are they learning to talk? Are they evolving? What's going to happen? Or is he just tripping balls and he's just losing it? So where is Kirkman really going with this now? Are these zombies starting to gain consciousness back? Are they coming back alive? Like, what's happening? I don't know. What are you doing, Robert Kirkman? I don't know if I like that direction if they're going to be talking now. But we'll see what happens. I like this issue. It was good, but not a lot happened in here. And I was kind of disappointed with the Negan thing. I was disappointed that Carl didn't get his job. I was weirded out by the whole zombies could be talking thing. And I just like the moments between Herschel and Herschel baby, Maggie, and Rick. And I loved how Rick here was treated like a rock star. And that's why he has the beard and the shaved head, so he can try to hide behind that. That's why he's like that. So, but after reading that, I gave this one a 3.5 out of 5 stars, too. All right, so going forward now, we go on to our top 5. And our number 5 this week was The Amazing Spider-Man, number 5. Wow, look at that. Top 5, number 5. Psst, what a coincidence, right? Yeah, I'm stupid sometimes. Anyway, yeah, if you guys want to see a full review on this particular issue, I did an in-depth review on this channel right here. Amazing Spider-Man. It continues the whole Silk and Spider-Man attraction thing. They're obviously going to be together, I think, during Spider-Verse. It could be because of Silk that Spider-Man is attracted to her. And then this continues the whole Electro Black Cat team-up. Artwork was really good in this issue. I liked it. A lot of detail here by Herberto Ramos. Again, I've said it from the beginning. I like his art. It reminds me, it fits Spider-Man. Spider-Man's a spider, gangly, like, character you would think. And it just reminds me of the days of the over-exaggerations and things like that, like Todd McFarlane did or Eric Larson did. I like stuff like that. So that's why I like his art. But this, again, continues the Electro and Black Cat story of Black Cat being vengeful towards Spider-Man. And she goes out and tries to repair her reputation, goes to Mr. Negative, says, I want to be part of the big leagues now. And you see her try to do that. Peter goes into this live broadcast. Jay Jonah is in charge of this talk show now. And by the time you get to the end of this issue, you wind up seeing that Black Cat is going to reveal Peter's identity to the world. And Jay Jonah Jameson is going to be saying it on his show. So she takes off the mask. Jay Jonah is the one announcing it. It fits Jay Jonah Jameson. Black Cat, she wants her revenge. People have disagreed with me on this. Some people have agreed with me on this. I don't like Black Cat hating Spider-Man. They've had this relationship for years, and it's just a misunderstanding of what's happened, and she just doesn't even want to sit down and listen to Peter at all, or Spider-Man at this point. So it's kind of frustrating. And then the one thing that bugs me about Spider-Man too is that we are getting ripped away. The fans of Spider-Man are getting ripped away, the ladies of Peter's life. Mary Jane is not even in the series. She's off with some firefighter boyfriend. It's aggravating when she is in the series because she's so out of character. But Dan Slott's like basically taking her away. And now it's like he's taking away Black Cat as well. It's like, hey, I don't want to be part of Spider's life. I want to destroy him. So let's take away her now. So all the ladies of Spider-Man's life are just going away. What is it? Carly Cooper was a goblin. She's gone away, so she's off. So there's nobody left in Peter Parker's love life. And me being a fan, I like having somebody there. And I guess that's what Silk is here for now. How long will she be in the picture? I don't know. But it's kind of depressing seeing these females that have been in Peter's life all these years, kind of disappearing. And I don't like seeing that. So that's kind of what drives this issue down for me. So hopefully you guys can understand that where I'm coming from. I know Black Cat's pissed off, but it's just like all of a sudden she became like Spider-Man's on again, off again sex relationship, and now she becomes this Doc Ock type of character where she wants his head on a platter, and that's what's frustrating to me. So we'll see where this goes. Spider-Verse is coming up. After reading this, I gave it a 3.5 out of 5 stars. It was an entertaining issue. I liked it. There's just certain elements that I didn't like about it. All right. So now, going on to number 4. And number 4 this week was the Hulk issue number 5. This is the first issue I've read of the Hulk since last year when it was rebooted from Marvel Now. And now I didn't read the first 4 issues that were done. People were telling me, "Oh, Mike, you gotta get it, you gotta get it," and I didn't. And I didn't. I fell a few issues behind. I didn't want to spend $12 at once on it. But when I saw Duggan was on the book, new writer, Bagley's on it with him, I was like, okay, let's give it a try. It's a new story arc. Let's see where they're going to go with it. And the book does a great job at, first of all, the artwork. I'll start with that. The artwork was really good. I'm a fan of Bagley's art. I loved his art in Amazing Spider-Man. So that alone, for years, I've grew up just watching his artwork, and reading it in comics. Same with the New Warriors. His artwork was there too. I loved it. Ultimate Spider-Man there. It's just, I love his artwork. So being in Hulk, it was just an added bonus for me. But the book very, very easily says what happened in the last story arc. Banner gets shot in the head. Iron Man puts Extremis in his brain, repairs his brain. Hulk is better, probably smarter now than he was before. He doesn't become Banner anymore. He keeps Banner contained, and he's smart, super smart. And he's got this whole Mohawk thing going on now. And basically in this particular issue, he wants to get rid of all the superpowered other Hulk creatures, all irradiated gamma creatures, whatever you want to call them. And by using this serum from his blood and nanites or nanonites or whatever you want to call it, and try to repair all the other Hulks that are out here. Except the formula won't work with him because it's his own antidote, his own serum, or he doesn't want to, let's just say. So in this issue, you wind up seeing him go into, I guess, some time thing, went into the future and wind up seeing all these dead superheroes, and then he goes in to get Ultron's armor, and he winds up making the nanites, or I don't even know how to say it, making the serum out of that. And then the first thing he goes to is Rick Jones, and he tries to repair him in the issue by giving him the first antidote, and thinking that he would be the easy one, wanting to go back to normal. Well, let's just say by the time you get to the end of the issue, he A-bombs out, and he winds up clobbering Hulk, and the antidote is destroyed, and it looks like they're going to do into a battle. I thought this was fun. It will be interesting to see where this goes. Again, it's a smart Hulk, not a stupid Hulk. It doesn't tie into the rest of the universe, so I'm a little confused in that way. But we'll see where it goes, and I think I'm going to continue it. I liked it better than Batman Eternal, and that's what I replaced this with. I replaced it with Batman Eternal. So after reading issue number 5 of the Hulk, I'm going to give this one a 4 out of 5. I enjoyed it. All right, so number 3 on this week's list. I'm sorry if there was a little hiccup in the video there. My camera kind of froze. So number 3 on this week's list is the Fantastic Four issue number 8. Really like this issue. Love the cover art on here. I thought it was beautifully done. You can see just the strength alone, how strong Ben Grimm is by the size of these gauntlets that are being held, that his hands are being held under. I thought that was pretty neat. But we got to see Puppet Master in the last issue being held in Ben Grimm's hands, murdered. So what happens is it does a brief little history on who the Puppet Master is. If you're not familiar with him, you get to see Alicia Masters in here. It's his stepdaughter. And Ben Grimm basically goes and gets arrested. There's no witnesses in the whole thing. We don't know exactly what's happened. And then you get to see how the Fantastic Four continues to crumble and die. You get to see what happens with Invisible Woman, how she tried taking on the Avengers because she's just ripped with emotions. She doesn't know how to handle the situation. And it just doesn't help their cause in every way, shape, or form. Jim Hammond is the one that makes his appearance. He's a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent now, the original, what's it called? The original Storm. And or he's the original Yeah, you guys know what I mean. He's like the original Johnny Storm, and or Human Torch. There we go. Jesus God, what is my problem? He is the original Human Torch, and he's an agent of Shield now. And he comes to Invisible Woman, and I love the moments here in this particular issue between the two because she's only met him a few times, but because he's trying everything he can to protect her kids, she feels really close to him and probably in debt for what he's trying to do to keep the kids safe. And Dragon Man in that same sense. So by the time now we get towards the end of the issue, you get to see Mr. Fantastic and Sue go to this place called, I think it was Eden. And it was this place where Mr. Fantastic has this job offer. It's the only thing they have going for them right now. They've lost everything. The court has taken away everything. There's nothing left for them. So the only way to continue to make money in a legit world is this place above Lake Michigan. And it looks like this. When I saw this in the book, I was like, wow, this is beautiful. I would love to live here, So this was a great art page here. And you get to see them, come out and they talk to Dr. Eden, and it looks like they have this relationship here. And, truly at the end of this issue, you get to see Johnny Storm, loses his tour, and Ben Grimm actually go to jail, which is sad. So, again, the Fantastic Four is crumbling apart. And seeing that happen is sad in a way, but it makes such a great story, and that's what's so good about this series right now. Best Fantastic Four series I've read in a long time. Really enjoyed it. After reading this, I gave this one a 4.5 out of 5 stars. All right. Next, I think we're on to our top 2 books of the week. That's right, number 2 book of the week, and it's still hot out, man. God. Number 2 book of the week is Original Sin, issue number 7 of 8. Yeah, only one left until this series is over. All I can say is Jason Aaron has done a real great job with this story. Mike Deodato has done fantastic in the art. It's been consistent. This page alone just makes a reader go, oh, and makes you really appreciate what's here. I loved it. So awesome here. So in this issue, you get a lot revealed of what's happened. You get a lot of answers to your questions. We find out that Dr. Midas attempts, now this is spoilers if you guys haven't read it, so if you want to fast forward, go ahead. But you find out that Dr. Midas in this issue tries to go out and destroy the Watcher, but he fails. Okay, so you see that. All right, and then what happens is the orb finds all this power that the Watcher has, and he winds up shooting the Watcher. So in that point, you're like, okay, so he killed the Watcher. And I think that's what happens, because later on in the issue, you find out that you have Nick Fury going to the moon, and I think he is the one that either kills him or he winds up trying to maybe revive him. I couldn't get the ending, and that's what was kind of confusing to me. But yeah, you get Dr. Midas, who supposedly was going to kill the Watcher, failed. The orb shot the Watcher. Looks like he took an eye. I'm not sure if Nick Fury took the other eye, and then he's going to revive him with both eyes. Does that make sense? I don't know. Am I right? Am I wrong? Please, guys, in that comments box, let me know what's going on, because I was kind of lost there. And then at the end of the issue, you wind up seeing all the other Watchers watching what's going on. So I was a little confused on what happened. However, I don't give a shit. I love this book. I love this story here. I love the battle between the Avengers and Nick Fury. He's got all this alien tech and he's shooting them all. You got eyeballs flying around in the particular issue. You got Spider-Man trying to retrieve the actual eyeballs. And Spider-Man sits there. He goes, I got the eyeballs, but just curious, what happens if I throw up in my space helmet? I thought that was awesome. So there's a lot of cool moments. Oh, and then the one thing that was really badass too that happens in this issue too was that Nick Fury like knows these secrets, and he caused Thor to lose his hammer. Like he can't grab the hammer anymore. And I was just like, holy shit, that's crazy. And we all know what's going to happen, that there's going to be a new Thor, female Thor. But I was like, dude, that's still cool, even though I knew that was going to happen. I thought it was a fun issue. Just not exactly sure what kind of happened at the end. That's why I didn't get my number one for the week. I felt a little confused and lost. So again, guys, let me know what happens there. But yeah, 4.5 out of 5 stars. All right, last but not least, the best book of the week for me, and I put this on Twitter too, that there was going to be a lot that needed to top this, and it was Spider-Man 2099. I thought this book was awesome. I thought it was a masterpiece. I said it, you know, maybe not a lot of action that happened in this issue, and if you're not a fan of that, that might be the reason why this might not be your pick of the week. Here, however, you have to look at the actual writing in this book that Peter David did in this issue, which I thought was brilliant. Once again, you get an introduction of Lila in here, lets you know who she is, what's the story with Miguel O'Hara, what's happened with him, and then you get great elements here. You get a little bit of action in the beginning with some bank robbery that goes on in this issue, and you get to see him going against these basic thugs. And I like the artwork in this book. It's grown on me already. I thought I wasn't going to be a huge fan of it, but Will Slaney has done a good job on it. And then you get to see him just randomly punch this bad guy in the face because he's just rambling on. So that's your action part. But the good thing about this issue is that the character, Miguel O'Hara, I thought it was really trying hard here to be a friend with Tempest, because he felt bad that she had to clean up the blood on the floor, and she said, well, it's just my job. And he brought her flowers, and I thought it was cool. The character moments here were so good. He hands her flowers, like, here's some flowers. Slam, gets a door slammed on his face, and it's like, dude, he just got rejected. But then she opens up the door, and he tries to get to know her a little bit, and he doesn't know that water comes in brand names, and it's just cool getting to see kind of like how clueless that Miguel O'Hara is in the year 2014, and I really enjoyed that. And he tries digging in certain things that he's not supposed to, and Tempest gets really angry at that. And she throws a cup of water at him and whatnot, and he just kind of leaves. Next thing is now you got Liz Allen, who's in this series, who's waiting for him at his apartment. And you get to see that Miguel O'Hara doesn't really need very much to live in his apartment. And it was just a little, chair. And Liz Allen is onto him. He's onto the secret. She got the secret dead on. She found out his social security number doesn't exist. The person was dead. And she was quite the detective here. And when she found out, the first thing that came to Miguel O'Hara's thought process was throw her out the window. And I was like, as a reader, though, when you're reading it for the first time, you think he legitimately picks her up and throws her out the window. And I was like, holy shit, no way did he throw her out the window. That is insane, dude. You can't throw her out the window. That's Liz Allen. Is he going to go after her? Is he going to catch her? Is she going to be like her little buddy secret pal? And I was just like, and then it goes back to the original thing of that's what he wanted to do. That was his first instinct. And she's like, hello, Miguel. Hello, Mike. So I thought that was really funny. So this continues throughout the whole issue. And Miguel gives her pretty much the entire truth except telling her that he's Spider-Man. He tells her the true identity of who he is, puts on this fake costume, he's from the future, and stuff like that. And she has this attraction towards him. They share a kiss with each other, and I thought that was really, really fun. And he's just like, oh my God, what kind of day am I having? Next thing you find out is this huge secret with Tempest and what's going on with her. And and then she says, thank you for the flowers at the end of the issue. And I'm not going to reveal that secret, because in case you haven't read the issue, I want you to find out what that secret is. But this book has all kinds of emotional beats in it. It flows beautifully. And this was the one thing that I'm kind of comparing with Spider-Man that Spider-Man is missing right now. It doesn't have that emotional quality to it. There's nothing there. It's missing that. And I know that Dan Slott's doing this hardcore, action-paced, fast-moving type of story, but why not slow Spider-Man down every once in a while? Get those emotional beats in that comic book. Get them to really appreciate the characters a little bit more. And that's what I'm missing from Amazing Spider-Man, because this really made me appreciate Liz Allen and Miguel O'Hara as characters in a book. It slowed it down enough, let you breathe, and got you vested into the characters. And maybe that's kind of what we need a little bit, again, in Spider-Man. We're always assuming that we kind of know what these characters are, what's going to happen. You know, bring back that emotion in Amazing Spider-Man. That's what made Spider-Man 2099 my pick of the week and a 5-star book. It tells you you don't need action, in a book to always make it a fantastic book. Beautiful. If you guys are not reading Spider-Man 2099, if you got turned off by it, the way Dan Slott wrote Spider-Man 2099, how he reintroduced us all into him, give this one a try, because I almost did not read this because the way Dan Slott actually introduced Spider-Man 2099 to all of us once again. I was almost like, I'm not going to read it. But after some prying from some friends, from some advice, I did. I read it, and I love it. It's a great book, and I can't wait to see where the series goes from here. So, guys, there's your countdown for this week. A little lengthy. I wanted to give some good, detail on some books. Hopefully, it made you guys make decisions on what comics to buy this week. And I want to know what your favorite book of the week was and what your worst pick of the week was. And guys, as always, thank you for watching Comic Book Corner 2.0. And it looks like I'll see you guys probably about a week and a half or so, maybe 2, maybe not. I might do a comic book haul. I might still fit in the comic book hauls, if anything. But for the most part, everything else I'll be on hiatus for. So guys, until the next comic book review, this is Mike Spider Slayer signing off. And as always, fans, thanks for watching. Take care. Bye.